to my corner of the internet. My name is Sumayyah, aka Sumi, and I am a mama first and foremost, and a full spectrum traditional birth worker and midwife. I just want to say welcome. If this is your first time catching one of my videos, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. We release videos pretty frequently. And if you are returning back, hey friend, thank you for being here with us again. I hope you've been enjoying some of the things we've been putting out. Make sure you comment below and let me know your thoughts always. I love to hear from you. So today I want to talk about something that I don't hear spoken about a lot or enough for sure. And it's demonetizing birth work. Yes, demonetizing birth work. You heard that right. This is something that I've done for the last about maybe 3 years now. And each year it's like more and more and more and more. And it's absolutely transformed my life and my practice. So what is demonetizing? What does that mean? That means not making money from birth work or a service or a product. And you may be thinking, what is she talking about? Has she lost her mind? Yes, I've lost my mind. I have. And what I'm talking about is really us moving towards a relationship with this practice as a spiritual journey, as a calling, and not a job, not just a transactional service. This is something that you can't just pick up and learn how to do. You have to be born. It's in you, not on you, as some of the old folks will say. And I've demonetized my practice for maybe about 3 years now. And what that looks like for me, it does not mean that I don't charge money or I don't suggest a love offering, because I think that it's very important for the energetic exchange that you're giving something and I'm receiving, and I'm giving something and you're receiving. I think that it absolutely is important. I think we've always had that type of mutual beneficial relationship happening with these practices and this work. However, if you cannot pay me, that is not a determining factor if I work with you or not. If you cannot pay me at agreed upon time for whatever reason, because life happens, right? That does not affect me having a roof over my head, having gas in my car, or having any of my needs met. But once upon a time it did. Once upon a time I was budgeting in a way that if a client missed, a payment, then that would affect my personal well-being. I was budgeting in a way that I need this many clients at this rate in order for me to live comfortably. And also, really, the big thing is, in order for me to even show up for them, right? That I was taking clients for less money than my asking price. We call that sliding scale. And at times pro bono, AKA free, or through trade or barter. So giving me a product or a service that benefits my life. But it was hard for me to pay my rent. It was hard for me to meet my basic needs. It was hard for me to buy the food that is best to fuel my body. And that leads to a relationship with this work that becomes transactional. It's very easy to feel frustrated, to have resentment, to feel taken advantage of when you give me this weekly or monthly payment that we agreed upon doesn't happen. And now I'm like, wow, if I would have known you wouldn't have payment this month, this week, this whatever time, I wouldn't have made a previous decision last week. And now rent is due next week. And what am I gonna do? If you're a birth worker, holla if you hear me. Have you been there before? Because I think we've all been there, if we're being completely honest, right? So the real question is, how do we make this work sustainable then? And we live in a capitalistic society. We have to make money in order for us to live, in order for us to survive. So I don't think that it's like to demonetize your work, your practice, it means that you can't make any money from it. I just mean that you have to reconfigure the relationship and the emphasis of how much of the percentage that you need to survive and live comfortably is coming from, your direct services as a birth worker, okay? So for me right now, I would say estimate probably about 20% of my income comes from direct services as a midwife, right? Very few. And I also had to really scan my life and realize I want to take a significantly less client load. That's what feels sustainable for me in the long run. And I was able to do that when most of my money was not coming from being a birth worker, a doula, a midwife, right? My direct services. So right now, you may be wondering, what does that look like for me? What does that even mean? Like, what does it really look like for you, Sumi? So I do lots of other things that are adjacent and complementary to my practice. I host virtual traditional birth worker apprenticeships, previously referred to as virtual doula training. I do coaching, life and business coaching for people, a lot of my alumni, my students, but also all kind of different people. I host have a subscription-based online community called the Virtual Circle. You should join, where we have weekly workshops. I'm always going on live in there. I'm posting in there. Other people are posting in there. We're meeting. We have different topics, different private groups, and it's an amazing, beautiful community of parents, birth workers, healers, and creatives. So that's a subscription-based membership. So I make some income from that, right? To make it happen and to also pour into my cup. I also host different like childbirth education series to teach people about pregnancy, childbirth, postpartum, and beyond, early parenting. And are some examples of what I do that complements and is very much so aligned with birth work, right? And they're all flexible. If I need to go attend to a client, like yesterday I was in a coaching call with one of my mentees, my students, and a client texted me. And I used that as a teaching moment, actually, to show her, okay, this is a client, this is how many weeks she is, let's answer her, text together. So in that moment, like everything is flexible and moving, and there's a synergy with all the things that I do. For you, it may be having yoga classes for pregnant people and postpartum people. For you, it may be selling herbal products or natural body care and hair care products. For you, it may be that you have a podcast, a YouTube channel that you've monetized, right? There's so many different things that you can do, and really it's up to you. Maybe you're a chef. Maybe you do meal prepping for people who are pregnant and postpartum, or anybody, really, anybody, right? And this is a way for you to no longer feel that burden, that stress. One of the most common questions I get is, Sumi, how do I attract clients? I need clients. And underneath that is not only this desire, of course, a desire to show up and do our work. It is so important for us to do our work. When I'm not doing my work, I don't feel as happy. But there is an ebb and flow. And we have to be able to tap into this ebb and flow. If you have to get clients, like I need clients, then you're going to ignore that intuitive space. You're going to ignore your body. You're going to ignore just where you're at in the world and in your life right now, right? That's saying pause, rest, take a break. And that can lead to mental health challenges and instability. That can lead to physical health imbalances and dis-ease. It can lead to us feeling frustrated with the work, having resentment, right? Feeling taken advantage of. Because now we're overexerting and overdoing. So this is why I think it's important to demonetize the work, because if you feel relaxed and you're not in survival mode, then you can truly attract anything, really, but your clients, right? So how I really do this is how I explained it. I have other things. I have about 7 to 8 streams of income in total, okay? And then that means that I get to really relax and have like I'm not in survival mode, and I've been there before. I've been doing this work since I was a teenager. This is the only thing I've ever done, really. I've done other things adjacent to it, but this has always been my work as in my sacred work, not my job work, as in my purpose. I've always just shown up for this part of me, right? One of my sisters, Shirley Johnson from Solistic Wellness, as we can find her online, it's amazing, you should look her up. She says, this is the rent we pay to be on this earth, is to do our sacred work, is to show up in our purpose. It's the rent we pay to be on this earth. And I so resonate with that. Demonetizing my practice has absolutely changed my practice and how I show up, how I function. Like I mentioned earlier, if someone can pay me or not is not the main determining factor if I consent to care with them. Like, yes, let's work together, right? We choose each other. At least that's how I work. We choose each other. Also, I just feel like I'm not in survival mode anymore. I feel nourished and like my cup literally gets filled from showing up to support and love on my clients. I get to go slow and be intentional and be creative, and I feel well rested. I don't feel in a rush. I don't have another appointment to get to. I do one appointment in a day, and it just feels so nourishing. I'm able to just focus on filling up my cup first, so I have an overflow, so much to give. So my quality of care and service is so much more. So I want to give y'all a little secret, the truth of how I really attract clients. I've never put up an advert, no advertisements. I've never made a bulletin or brochure. Okay, I made business cards one time, 1,000 of them, and I might have used 5. And 2 of them went to loved ones to show them, like, look at my new business card, right? I've never paid for any type of ads on social media. I've never put up a post even on social media that open for business, never. How I've attracted clients, it's been about 15 years now of me doing this work, has been through me giving the same love, attention, and care that I give to my clients to myself first. Having impeccable, energetic, and spiritual hygiene. So really taking care of myself, making sure that my mental health is stable. What does that mean? It means all kinds of things. It means a lot of things. A lot of things. And we all know, like, what does it take for you to be really healthy? Like in every way. Focus on that. I'm like deep dive all the way into that. The same way you will put so much attention and love into your client, give that to yourself. And all of a sudden, it becomes like a sticky energy, I think of it. Like just, you're undeniable. You're irresistible. Like you'll be walking, like minding your business at the farmer's market, and you run into someone and they become your client. Like it becomes so irresistible. You can't force it, and you shouldn't force it. There's natural ebbs and flows, and one of our biggest ebbs tend to happen in the beginning when we first surrender and say yes. It's one of the biggest ebbs. You don't want to skip this step, though. You don't want to skip this part. You don't want to do that because you learn so much about yourself. You learn so much about yourself. It is happening for a reason. If you're in an ebb right now, really honor it. And then after that, I start to get ready for my clients. When I feel like I'm ready, I start to get ready for them. I get my birth bag together. I get my whatever type of charting or filing or like note-taking system you're gonna use. I get it ready for my clients, and I talk to the babies. I do a little ceremonia, like for the full moon, new moon, call in, and I'll say, all the babies that are ready to gestate, I'm ready to support you in your process. I'm here, I'm open, and I'm ready. And I start to imagine and visualize what my practice looks like. And I practice gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most irresistible, sticky, attractive energies in this whole universe. It's rooted in the love vibration. And when you embody gratitude, I mean, your wildest dreams will start to unfold. I hope y'all learned something today. If you made it this far in the video, you're a real one. Thank you so much for listening and being here. Until next time, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications if you haven't already. All right, y'all. Peace.